Welcome to xCrimes. Sometimes a story breaks that just stops you in your tracks. A rising star, someone whose music you might even know, suddenly at the center of something truly dark.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what happened here. We're talking about David Anthony Burke, known globally as the artist D4vd. Huge talent, massive tour underway.
Yeah, chart topper, genre-bending sound, and then September 8th, 2025, everything just grinds to a halt, a horrific halt.
It really did. The reports started coming out. Decomposing human remains found inside the front trunk.
Yeah.
The frunk of a Tesla.
Not just any Tesla.
A Tesla registered specifically to David Burke, his car, Texas plates. It had been impounded after being abandoned up in the Hollywood Hills.
We begin with that breaking news. Details after a body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. There's no immediate information about the identity of the person found inside, but Eyewitness News has learned the 2023 Tesla is registered in Hempstead, Texas to multi-platinum artist and musician David Anthony Burke, known professionally as David.
Just unbelievable. And it wasn't just a grim discovery, it connected directly to a missing person case, a long-term one.
Exactly. The remains were identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She'd been missing from Riverside County for like over a year.
15. God, that's heartbreaking. And the way this all comes together, the huge celebrity, the digital world he came from, and then this really disturbing alleged crime dismemberment, hiding a body in his car. It's just one of the most unsettling stories we've seen in a while.
It really is. So our mission today in this deep dive is basically to take all the source material you've gathered, all the reports, and try to piece together what we actually know.
Right. Go beyond just the shocking headlines.
Yeah. Look at the timeline, the backgrounds of everyone involved, D4D, Celeste, and critically, how investigators are navigating this. Because so much of it seems tied to digital forensics, online footprints.
And we have to stress, based on everything we've seen so far, David Burke hasn't actually been arrested or charged with anything at this point?
That's crucial. No charges filed as of our recording. But the investigation is intense, and, well, the internet is playing a massive role, almost like a key witness here.
Okay, well, let's try to unpack it all. So David Anthony Burke, D4vd, his story, before all this, it's like the definition of a modern success story, right? Makes the current situation feel even stranger.
Totally dissonant.
Yeah.
He was born in Queens back in 2005, moved to Houston when he was about, 13.
And he didn't start with music, did he? It was gaming.
Exactly. He was deep in the YouTube and gaming scene first, making Fortnite montages, that kind of thing. Very typical online creator path initially.
Right. And the music came about because of copyright issues.
Yeah, that's the story he tells.
Yeah.
Apparently, he kept getting copyright strikes on his gaming videos for using popular songs. Classic creator problem.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom, according to him, basically said, look, if you need music, why don't you just make your own?
Wow. Simple as that.
Seems like it. So he started using his iPhone and this app called BandLab, recording vocals in his sister's closet. Super DIY. And that raw kind of bedroom pop sound he created, that really connected with people, didn't it?
Hugely.
That Gen Z audience, they love that authentic, unpolished vibe. It feels real, not manufactured.
And it worked. I mean, it really worked. Those singles in 2022, Romantic Homicide and Here With Me.
They didn't just chart, they exploded. Were completely viral on TikTok. That led straight to a major record deal with Darkroom Interscope.
That's the Billie Eilish label, right? Big time.
Huge. So by 2025, this kid is 20 years old. He's got a debut album, Withered, out. He's opening for massive artists like SCA, playing Coachella, touring the world.
That context is just vital. He wasn't some unknown artist. He was a global name under a huge corporate spotlight.
Right, which makes you wonder the level of secrecy this alleged connection to Celeste must have required. Or maybe it wasn't secrecy. Maybe it was just, recklessness.
It's hard to fathom because with that level of success, you've got managers, publicists, label execs watching everything. Their whole job is protecting the brand, the investment.
Exactly. They're managing risk constantly. So for this situation to unfold, it suggests either an incredible ability to compartmentalize and hide this part of his life.
Or something else.
Or something else. But that corporate structure, that intense scrutiny, it just amplifies how severe the professional fallout was the second this news broke.
Yeah, the industry reaction wasn't subtle. It tells you they must have seen something pretty damning behind the scenes, even before the public knew details.
Oh, it wasn't gradual at all. It was like a switch flipped, scorched earth.
Total freeze.
Complete freeze. Intercope, UMG, Sony Music Publishing. They didn't just pause things. They halted all promotion. For his deluxe album release, everything just stopped.
And that's a big deal financially, right, for a label like UMG.
Massive. These companies run on predicting risk. When they pulled the plug that fast, before any formal charges, they were essentially saying the situation was already too toxic.
Yeah.
Continuing the association was a bigger financial risk than just cutting ties immediately.
And the tour dates just evaporated.
Gone. San Francisco, LA, all those European shows, 9 of them just canceled. Even like a Granny Museum appearance got pulled.
You don't see that kind of coordinated instant corporate retreat unless the information they're getting is just devastating.
Absolutely. And the brand endorsements followed right behind. Crocs, Hollister, brands targeting that youth market.
They dropped him from that Dream Drop campaign almost instantly, didn't they?
Within days of the body being identified.
Yeah.
And then you had Kali Uchis, his collaborator, publicly saying she was trying to get their song Crashing pulled from streaming.
Wow.
That collective running for the exits. It signals that whatever circumstantial evidence linked Burke to that car, and therefore to the body, was considered undeniable by the people whose money was on the line.
Okay, let's shift focus now to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And the timeline here is just tragic.
It really is. She was only 15 when her remains were discovered, and the timing. It was apparently the day after her 15th birthday.
Oh, that's just awful. So cruel. And she'd been missing for a long time before that.
Yeah, since April 5th, 2024. She was reported missing from Lake Elsinore down in Riverside County. She was only 13 then.
13.
Her family described her as, quite small, 5'1", maybe 70 pounds, wavy dark hair. They'd been looking for her, worrying, for 16 months. Just imagine.
16 months of not knowing. And then this discovery in September 2025, it ends the search but starts this huge public investigation.
Right. And the discovery itself, the mechanics of it, the Tesla, Burke's car, it had apparently been sitting there abandoned.
Where exactly?
Near a street called Doy Place up in the Hollywood Hills. For about 5 days, the reports say.
And people noticed something was wrong.
Well, neighbors reported a really bad smell, a foul odor. But, in the hills, people sometimes dismiss that as maybe a dead animal or something.
Right, it happens.
It wasn't until the car got towed. It went to a tow yard on Mansfield Avenue. And the workers there, they were the ones who were like, okay, this smell is serious. They called the LAPD.
And that's when they opened the frunk.
Yeah, confirmed it. Dismembered human remains wrapped in plastic or some kind of bag.
Dismembered. Ugh. The report said it was only the head and torso.
That's what some reports indicated, yeah.
Yeah.
And severely decomposed already.
Which presents a huge challenge for investigators, right? The decomposition.
A massive challenge.
Yeah.
First off, think about LA in late summer. It's hot. Inside a sealed car compartment like a frunk, temperatures would soar. That accelerates decomposition like crazy.
So determining time of death, cause of death, much harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really complicates things for the medical examiner. And the fact that the body was dismembered and maybe incomplete, that points towards an intentional effort to hide the crime, obviously.
Makes it easier to move, easier to conceal.
Right. But it also obscures the original crime scene, potentially masks the actual cause of death. It's an act of obstruction in itself.
So with the body in that state, how did they identify her so quickly as Celeste?
Well, DNA confirmation takes time, but the initial identification relied on matching the physical description, the height, weight, hair from the missing person report.
Okay.
But the key detail, the really striking thing, was a tattoo. She apparently had a small tattoo on her index finger that just said, shh.
Like telling someone to be quiet.
Exactly. And that specific, unique tattoo matched the description of Celeste Rivas Hernandez from when she went missing. That allowed for that preliminary ID.
Wow. And because of the decomposition and everything else, the official cause of death was listed as deferred.
Right, deferred. Meaning they need more time, more tests, toxicology, further analysis of the remains.
What does that mean legally, though, for building a homicide case without knowing exactly how she died?
It's a significant hurdle, for sure, but not impossible to overcome. When cause of death is deferred, prosecutors can't just say she was stabbed or she was shot. They don't have that specific mechanism yet.
So they rely on other evidence.
Heavily. They have to rely on what's called corpus delicti, basically, proving that a crime occurred that resulted in death, even if the exact how is unclear. They use all the surrounding circumstantial evidence.
So in this case, things like the dismemberment itself, the fact the body was hidden in his car.
Precisely. The act of dismembering a body, concealing it like that, those are crimes in themselves. They demonstrate criminal intent, consciousness of guilt. The investigation then shifts focus a bit.
Away from just the body.
Yeah. Towards the evidence trail.
Yeah.
Where did the dismemberment happen? That becomes a key question. And what do the digital communications show? The concealment, the abandonment, that evidence becomes incredibly damning, potentially even more so than pinpointing the exact physical trauma, especially if that's obscured by decomposition.
Okay, so let's get into the connections being drawn between D4v, David Burke, and Celeste. This is where it gets really disturbing, looking at the alleged relationship. And it starts with that tattoo, doesn't it?
It really does. That tattoo Celeste had on her right index finger. The reports say it almost exactly matched one that D4 himself had been seen with in photos, starting around September 2024.
So after she went missing, but before she was found?
Right, and a shared, unique tattoo like that. In investigations, it often points to something shared, a secret maybe, a bond. Sometimes in controlling relationships, it's like a mark of ownership or exclusivity.
A sign that this relationship, whatever it was meant to be kept hidden, which kind of lines up with what Celeste's family said.
It does seem to. Her mother confirmed Celeste had mentioned a boyfriend named David.
Okay.
And her brother specifically said she disappeared after planning to go see a movie with this guy, David. That directly links her last known plans to someone with his name.
And then there's the whole digital trail aspect. The internet sleuths, and reportedly the police too, have been digging into how and when they might have connected online.
Yeah, and the timeline that's emerged is troubling. Allegations suggest communication started way back in 2022.
2022, so D4vd would have been, what, 17?
Around 17, yeah. And Celeste, she would have been only 11 or 12 years old.
Wow. That's incredibly young. And they were talking on platforms like Discord.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Discord, maybe other chat rooms. These platforms can be tricky for investigators. They're not like Facebook, where data requests are maybe more straightforward.
Right, more decentralized.
Exactly. But even so, if they were communicating regularly from 2022 up to 2024 when she vanished, that's potentially thousands of messages, interactions, data points that investigators would be meticulously combing through. They'd be looking for patterns, evidence of grooming, the nature of the communication.
And there seems to have been an effort to keep this connection hidden right up until she disappeared. There was that live stream video.
Yeah, that surfaced from January 2024, just a few months before she went missing. It appears to show D4v, and there's a girl with him who looks a lot like Celeste.
What happens in the video?
Well, the girl is heard, prompting him about a comment in the chat, so she's clearly there and engaged.
Yeah.
But the really telling part is what D4v apparently said afterward. He told his stream moderators to delete everything. Like, can we delete all videos, and when the stream ends, delete the stream too? Just wipe it.
That sounds like panic, like trying to erase evidence.
It definitely signals intent to conceal. You don't frantically scrub a recording of a harmless interaction with a fan. It suggests he knew having video proof of him with this specific girl, given her age, was incredibly problematic, potentially career-ending, even before any alleged crime.
And the connection wasn't just online, apparently. There was physical proximity evidence, too.
Right, that photo that emerged, showing D4 in a parking lot in Lake Elsinore.
Celeste's hometown, which is like quite a drive from Hollywood.
Yeah, it's about 70 miles. Significant distance. Now, the defense could argue he was there for some other reason, maybe a meeting, who knows. But if investigators can link that photo, maybe through geolocation data from his phone or the car's data or seized computer records showing navigation to that area, then it becomes much stronger. It shows he wasn't just talking to her online, he was physically going to her specific neighborhood. That reinforces the idea of an actual physical relationship, not just a digital one.
And it adds to this narrative of control, which is echoed in those claims from her former teacher.
Yeah, that viral TikTok video from a middle school teacher. Police are reportedly looking into it.
Hold up. That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper, that they were like blackmailing him, all of this stuff. And then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces, You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media.
The teacher claims Celeste had told other students about meeting this guy David online when she was 13.
And that she ran away with him.
That's the claim. Ran away to Hollywood, was apparently found by police after that first missing report in April 2024, but then disappeared again just weeks later in May 2024.
So found and then gone again almost immediately.
If that sequence is accurate, it paints a really concerning picture. It suggests a pattern of leaving to be with him, being brought back, and then leaving again very quickly. That points towards potentially a very intense, controlling dynamic. It shifts the narrative from her just running away to possibly being drawn back into a situation that ultimately led to this tragedy 16 months later.
Okay, so the body is found, the ID is made, and the investigation really ramps up physically. The police raid on September 18th.
Yeah, that was a major step. LAPD executed a search warrant on that house in the Hollywood Hills, the one D4vd was reportedly staying at.
And it was rented by his manager, Josh Marshall.
That's right. And crucially, the house was located, according to reports, not far from where they found the abandoned Tesla.
That proximity is key. So what did they do during the raid? What were they looking for?
Well, getting a warrant means they had to show a judge probable cause, a strong reason to believe evidence of a crime would be found there. They seized electronics, definitely a computer, maybe other devices.
Standard procedure.
Right. But the really significant part was the forensic work inside the house. Reports say they used luminol.
Luminol, that's for detecting blood, right? Even if it's been cleaned up.
Exactly. It reacts with the iron and hemoglobin and glows blue, even with tiny trace amounts, or if someone tried to wash it away, it's incredibly sensitive.
And where did they focus the luminol search?
Reports mention specifically searching drains and the garage. Apparently, it was a 3-car garage.
Okay, drains and the garage. Why there?
Well, think about the state of the body. Dismembered. That horrific act had to happen somewhere. The focus on the garage and drains strongly suggests investigators suspect that dismemberment might have occurred at that house.
So they're looking for the secondary crime scene.
Precisely. If they find trace blood evidence, especially in drains where it might have been washed away or in a space like a garage that's easier to clean, that could directly link the act of dismemberment to the occupant of that house.
Which was reportedly D4vd.
Or at least the house he was staying in rented by his manager. It tightens that link significantly.
Beyond the physical search, there's this whole other layer. The digital and artistic clues D4vd left himself, things that maybe seemed like just lyrics or edgy posts before, but now.
Now they look incredibly chilling in retrospect. This is where his life being lived so publicly online becomes a potential nightmare for him.
Like that unreleased song, the demo, Celeste.
Yeah, the Celeste demo unfin that leaked back in December 2023, months before she disappeared.
Yeah.
The lyrics are just, wow. Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. I'm obsessed.
So specific, her name, mentioning a tattoo with his name, obsession.
It's incredibly explicit. Now, the defense will argue it's just art, creative expression, but the prosecution, they'll frame it as evidence of his knowledge of her, his fixation, maybe even foreshadowing.
And then there are the lyrics from his huge hit, Romantic Homicide, from way back in 2022.
Right. In the back of my mind, I killed you and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true.
He apparently said back then it was just figurative about a breakup.
That was the explanation, yeah. A metaphor. But now, after a dismembered body is found in his car, those lyrics sound terrifyingly literal. It's hard to ignore.
And there are other things too, right? Like social media posts.
Yeah, there's that reposted TikTok from June 2024, again, after she was missing, but before she was found. It showed someone chopping meat, and the caption was something like, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes."
Just deeply possessive, violent imagery.
Exactly. Take it alone. Maybe you dismiss it as dark humor or online edge, but you put it together with the song lyrics, the alleged secret relationship, it starts to paint a pattern of possessiveness, maybe violent ideation. Investigators will absolutely present this as relevant context.
And the music video, the one for One More Dance, released February 2025.
That one is particularly eerie. It literally shows a body being dragged and put into the trunk of a car.
Which is almost exactly what the police found months later in his car.
The parallels are just stark. It's like this whole body of artistic work leading up to the discovery almost narrates the crime, or at least elements of it.
Okay, so you have the lyrics, the post, the video. But the biggest potential piece of evidence is the car itself, isn't it? The Tesla.
Oh, absolutely. Tesla is potentially the investigators' single most valuable asset here. It's like a rolling surveillance device.
Because of all the cameras. Sentry mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Teslas have, what, 8, 12 cameras recording constantly when Sentry mode is active. High-definition video, 360 degrees around the car. It records if someone approaches if the alarm goes off.
So they're not just trying to figure out who was driving it before it was abandoned?
They're hoping for much more. They'd be issuing subpoenas to Tesla right now for all the data logs and all the Sentry mode footage for the period leading up to and during its abandonment.
What could that footage show?
Potentially everything. The GPS track of exactly where the car went, confirmation of who was driving it, and the absolute crucial bit, potentially video evidence of who physically put that bag, those remains, into the frunk. If that footage exists and clearly shows David Burke, or maybe someone closely associated with him like his manager, loading that package into the car, that piece of video evidence could be incredibly powerful. It might even overcome the lack of a specific cause of death, at least for establishing probable cause for arrest.
But couldn't the defense argue the car was stolen? Or someone else used it without his knowledge?
They could try, but that's where the principle of Occam's razor comes in. The simplest explanation is often the right one. The car is registered to him, found near where he lives, that points strongly towards him.
Right.
But police have to rule out other possibilities. And the Tesla data helps there too. It often logs who unlocks the car, who's in the driver's seat via interior sensors or phone key association, who accesses the trunk or frunk.
So it's hard to just say someone else did it.
It makes that defense much harder. Plus, investigators will cross-reference the car's data with everything else. The phone data, the computer data seized from the house. Does the geolocation match? Do the timelines sync up? That level of digital cross-checking makes traditional defenses like, my car was stolen, much more difficult to sustain if the data contradicts it.
So we've laid out this mountain of circumstantial evidence, the alleged secret relationship starting when she was underage, the efforts to hide it, the possessive lyrics and posts, the body found in his car near his house, the luminol search. It seems overwhelming.
It certainly paints a very strong picture of suspicion.
And yet, as we said, David Anthony Burke hasn't been arrested or charged. Wait, what are the police waiting for?
It comes down to strategy and the difference between having strong suspicion and having a case that's ready for court, especially a high-profile one like this. Reports say D4vd is cooperating with the investigation. And officially, he hasn't even been named a suspect or person of interest, even though he's clearly the central figure. The police are being extremely methodical.
Why? Because of the complications. The dismemberment, the deferred cause of death.
Exactly. Those are major hurdles. To bring charges, especially something like murder, when you can't definitively state how the person died yet and when the body was tampered with so severely, you need an exceptionally strong case based on all the other evidence. You need it to be, as you said earlier, rock solid, bulletproof.
So they're waiting for those final pieces.
It seems very likely. They're waiting on the final, detailed autopsy results from the medical examiner. That might still yield clues about cause or time of death, even with decomposition. And critically, they're waiting on the full forensic analysis of all those seized electronics, the computer, phones, etc.
To see if it confirms the online communication timeline, places him with her.
Right. Corroborating that timeline, showing patterns of communication, location data linking him to her or the abandonment site, and of course the absolute potential game changer, that Tesla Sentry mode footage.
If that footage shows what they think it might show.
If it shows him, or someone directly linked to him, disposing of the remains in that frunk, that could be the final piece they need to move forward with an arrest, even with the cause of death listed as deferred. It establishes motive, concealment, opportunity, the act of concealment itself, proximity. It ties almost everything together circumstantially.
But analyzing all that digital data, the forensic reports, that takes time.
Weeks, maybe even months, and prosecutors would rather wait and build an absolutely airtight case than rush an arrest on shaky ground, especially with a celebrity defendant where the scrutiny will be intense. A premature charge that gets challenged successfully could jeopardize the whole prosecution.
It really is striking, though, isn't it, how someone whose entire career was built online, documented step by step,
leaves behind such an incredibly detailed digital trail. It's a huge shift in how these investigations work. He used an iPhone and BandLab to become famous, right? But that same technology, the Discord chats from years ago, the deleted live streams, the geotags, the car's constant video recording it, creates this permanent, indelible record.
A record that investigators can now piece together.
Exactly. This case is a stark example. The rapid rise, fueled by online platforms, living life through apps and devices. It leaves a digital footprint that is almost impossible to erase completely. And that footprint might ultimately be what leads investigators to the truth, whatever that may be.
It's a tragedy, first and foremost, for Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her family. But it also highlights the strange paradox of modern fame you can feel hidden behind the screen. But the data stream you create strips away anonymity. That digital trail, it doesn't forget.
We want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into a really complex and, frankly, heartbreaking case involving David Anthony Burke and Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It's clear the investigation is far from over.
Yeah, there are still key pieces of forensic and digital evidence that need to be fully analyzed. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on any developments from the medical examiner or from the analysis of those seized devices and the Tesla data. To stay updated on this investigation, make sure you subscribe to X-Crimes right here on YouTube. You can also follow us on social media for ongoing analysis. And please leave your thoughts and insights on the case in the comments below. We read them all.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive.